And joining us now is former NBC News Tel Aviv bureau chief Martin Fletcher. 8 of his family members have been released since the start of the war, including a 3-year-old and an 8-year-old this weekend, but their father is still being held. Martin, tell us how you and your family can balance the joy of having some members back home with the trauma that they endured and the fact that their dad is still being held.
Yeah, Andrew, absolutely. I mean, it's a quandary. It's a personal, for me personally, it's a personal and professional thing. But for the family, you know, it's how, at what point do you start celebrating when you know that 3 of your family were killed, and so now suddenly we've got the first 2 hostages were released. The Americans, Judith and Natalie, were from our family, and now we have another 6 out of 7 freed on Saturday. But the the father, Tal, is still held a hostage. So what do? I mean, do you celebrate? So, you know, it's this roller coaster of emotions, this manic, depressive state that the country of Israel is in at the moment. You know, bouncing back and forwards between joy and sorrow. I think we are pretty clear that that Tal, who I believe is 38 years old, probably falls into the category of military-age men that Hamas has said they're not going to be freeing certainly in the near future. You know, Hamas has said they will not release the soldiers, men and women, and men of military age, well, that includes Tal. So yes, of course, everybody is celebrating, especially the fact that we got Yael back. She's 3 years old. Nave was 8. Now I'm 12. So the children are back. Now it's a matter of dealing with the traumas and the physical issues. Apparently, there's no serious physical issues among the people released from our family, but psychologically, of course, a lot of work still to be done.
Oh, how are the children in particular?
Well, as far as I know, they're pretty good. You know, the pictures of them show them smiling and hugging their family members. You know, amazingly, almost all of the family, apart from the 3 that we knew were killed, have come back safe and well from their captivity. So the children are fine. I mean, I haven't spoken personally directly with the hostages or even their immediate family. And I'll tell you why, Andrew, because this is really a difficult time in a way for somebody like me. You know, on the one hand, there's a professional journalistic need, if you like, to find out what's going on. You know, this is news, but it's also family and it's also damaged people, you know, so I don't want to pick up the phone and just get in the way. You know, they're keeping themselves to themselves at the moment in the hospital. The next thing they're going to have to work out is at what point can they go home? I mean, they come from the kibbutz Be'eri on the border with Gaza, which has been not completely, totally destroyed, but large parts of it have been destroyed and burnt. Other members of their own kibbutz are still held hostage. So it's you know, nobody knows what to do, frankly. I mean, I don't think that Israelis have been through this before to this extent. So we're making it up as we go along. And my personal response, if you ask me how the children are, is I haven't asked because I don't want to complicate their issues, you know. And
these crowds that we've seen in the West Bank have been celebrating the release of Palestinian prisoners, but the Palestinian Prisoners Club say that several thousand have been arrested since October 7th. There are thousands more being held without charges under security arrangements in Israel where you don't have to even know why you're being held.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, I mean, the Israelis presumably are arresting people, hopefully with good reason, but they haven't brought many of them to trial. So the release of the women and the teenagers on the West Bank is, you know, being celebrated. It's the victory picture, if you like, for Hamas. Yes. I mean, if Israel's of the moment is the hostages coming home safely and joy being expressed by their families at their safe return, the pictures, the images we're seeing from the West Bank are quite different. It's a celebration, wild celebrations. This is the victory images that Hamas has been looking for. The fact that the Hamas has been able to get Palestinian prisoners freed from Israeli jails is a huge triumph for Hamas among the Palestinian people. You know, of course, the Palestinian people want their state, but what they most want in the immediate short term is the release of all their prisoners from Israeli jails. This has always been the goal of the Palestinians, is to get their prisoners released. And so Hamas has been able to do it. They're doing it. They're in the process of doing it now. So this is a great success for Hamas. It's increased their popularity in the West Bank. All the opinion polls show overwhelming support among Palestinians for Hamas right now. You know, there's horror at what Hamas did on the day, but there's glee at what Hamas is achieving in its negotiations with Israel.